Hello, my name's Reg Griffin, and I wrote a book called Sungod, the most probable theory of our time. I did a study for 20 years on all the myths and statements that just didn't make sense in history. I took out all the magic, and I took out all the superstition and searched for something that does make sense. It's called Sungod, the most probable theory of our time. I've been asked to talk about the Christchurch earthquakes, which I know is happening anyway. So what's happening is that the planets go away from the sun for 10,000 years, then the planets come back to the sun. And close to the sun, their year is only 3 months because of the small circle. And their day is only 3 hours long, and their night is 3 hours long. And that makes them live for 900 odd years, over 1,000 years. The Japanese told me 1,000 years and 20. They had people 10,000 years ago. That's all their recording. And our recording of 969 is Methuselah in the Christian Bible. And as the planets come out, circling the sun, they move out for 10,000 years, and on the way out, what happens is we'll start from 1,000. The Japanese say so, so we start from 1,000, and as the world comes out with all the other planets, the year gets longer. So it's 900 or 1,000, 900, 800, 700, 600, 500, 400, 300, 200, 100. We're way out here. We've got much further to travel in our orbit. And on the way out, we froze too far from the sun in the 17th century. In the 17th century it froze for a full night. In the morning it started defrosting. Why? Because on the way out we are turning slower and slower and slower and slower because of the much wider orbit. So we froze, and in the morning we started defrosting. Here again, why? It's quite simple. We're turning slower. The ozone all goes to one side. We're not travelling fast enough to keep the ozone around us. So that's the purpose in that, of course. It lets in extra light. So the ozone popped on one side, the side closest to the sun, and let in extra light. And that started defrosting. And it was called the mini ice age. Now, in the year 2000, we stopped going out. We're coming back. And scientists already know we've picked up speed in 3 years by 0.026. Or it's now 12 years, and it'll be much faster now in our rotation spin. We're picking up speed again because it's a slightly smaller orbit. Now, that means picking up speed. The Earth is picking up speed. All the plates are going to start moving towards the equator. We spent 10,000 years slowing down, coming away from the sun, and the plates stopped their movement. They slowed down, slowed down, slowed down. Now we're picking up speed, and all the plates are starting to move again and crunch. We'll see lots and lots of earthquakes in the future. We just started. And Christchurch is on the same plate as Australia. And if you go into Te Papa, the museum, you will see, if you go to the dinosaur area, you will see a big box with a glass front on it, and in it there will be the South Island at the bottom left hand corner, and in the middle is the North Island. And now they know this is happening because on the right hand side is a crank, and you crank the crank and up comes the South Island, up it comes, up it comes, up it comes, bang, straight into the North Island. Now the North Island is not moving because it's already rammed into the ring of fire. The South Island can still move, and the Banks Peninsula is sticking out with nothing behind it. So it's hit something underground, and it's breaking off, and it's going to keep, earthquakes are going to keep on coming. It's never going to stop now. We spent 10,000 years slowing down. That's all we know about earthquakes. But earthquakes that are coming are really big. really big. So, and we're just in the start of it, the beginning of it. So it's hit something, and the rest of the South Island is pushing and applying a lot of pressure on Banks Peninsula. And if you study, or if you are aware of where the latest northern side of Christchurch, where it connects to the South Island, you'll see 2 new fault lines. They found them, and it was on TV. That's the pressure. The pressure is building and building and building and building, and every day we're picking up a little bit of speed. Every day the pressure gets harder. And when it happened in earlier time, the first earthquake they had, I said, wow, this is happening much quicker than I ever thought. We've come back from 2000. I expected above 2020 we'll start noticing, but no, much earlier. And it's going to keep on happening. That's all it is. I advise everybody to get out of the South Island. Sell up, get out. Well, that's all I've got to say for the moment. I was asked to talk about the South Island earthquakes. Banks Peninsula, I have said so. Thank you. Oh, if you go to the end of the video, you will see a box saying click on the blue line. The blue line will take you straight to my book. It's in America. And when you get there, underneath the book cover is preview, printed preview. And if you click on the preview, just wait, and you'll click the first 12 pages of my book, and you'll see a long list of all the things in history that I had to recorrect. It all needed correcting. It's all wrong. Hey, heaps of problems coming. And the more we know about it, the more aware we are, we can help ourselves a bit by keeping out of these areas that are going to be crunched. Of course, the top of the South Island is going to start banging into the bottom of the North Island. That's coming. Thanks for listening. Bye now.